This lesson is going to focus on compound sentences. The reason that you're watching this particular lesson is because we just need to do more work on using compound sentences in our writing. This may mean that we need to actually use the compound sentence, or we need to work on the punctuation of the compound sentence. This lesson is first going to review what a compound sentence is, and then we're going to do some practice with writing. So, a compound sentence. A compound sentence contains two independent clauses. Please remember that an independent clause has a subject and a verb and is sometimes referred to as a simple sentence. We connect two independent clauses by using a coordinating conjunction, or we use a semicolon. Coordinating conjunctions are also referred to as fanboys. Each one of the letters in the word fanboys represents one of the coordinating conjunctions. The F represents for. The A represents and. The N represents nor. The B represents but. The O represents or. The Y represents yet. And the S represents so. So please remember that we use these fanboys or coordinating conjunctions to combine two independent clauses together. This will give us a compound sentence. Now, it's really important to remember that when we're using coordinating conjunctions to combine two independent clauses, that we must have a comma before that coordinating conjunction. If we don't have that comma, then our compound sentence is not punctuated correctly. Now, we can combine two independent clauses using that coordinating conjunction with the comma, or we can combine them in a different way. And this other way would be just using a semicolon. So if I was going to look here at this particular independent clause, it says friends help during difficult times. And then I have another independent clause, they are keepers of secrets. To combine those two independent clauses together, I could use a comma coordinating conjunction, or I could simply just use a semicolon like I've done here. Looking here at this slide, this is simply just going to overview what we've already talked about. A compound sentence combines two independent clauses. Again, here is an example of an independent clause and another example of an independent clause. Remember that we can combine these two independent clauses using two different methods. The first one could be a comma coordinating conjunction, which are your fanboys, or a semicolon. What I'd like for you to do is I want you to look down here at this blue box, and I want you to notice we have the same sentence, but they are punctuated a little bit differently. Both of these sentences, though, are still compound. All right, so if we were going to look at how to form a compound sentence, we need to remember that the independent clause is always going to start the sentence and it's always going to end the sentence. So I look at this green one, I recognize that that's a coordinating conjunction. I know that whenever I use a coordinating conjunction, I must have a comma. That's where my blue puzzle piece is going to come through. Here it says Colin paid her a mission. I know that this is an independent clause because there's a verb paid. Who paid? Colin paid. That makes Colin the subject. So this clause has a subject and a verb. Here it says Mary went to the haunted house. Our verb is went. Who went? Mary went. Mary is our subject. So therefore I have another independent clause. So I'm going to try to form a compound sentence here. I'm assuming that this puzzle piece, Mary went to the haunted house, is going to be my first one. Then I'm going to put my comma, because I know the comma always comes before the coordinating conjunction. And then is going to be Colin paid for her a mission, my second independent clause. You may be wondering, how did I know that Mary went to the haunted house came before Colin paid for her a mission? This pronoun her let me know that if I didn't have Mary at the beginning of the sentence, I wouldn't know who her was referring to. So if I put that at the beginning, Colin paid her a mission, I wouldn't understand who her was. So let's try that again. Here again, I see a coordinating conjunction, which is and. I see another comma, and then I see Mary dressed up as Catwoman. My verb is dressed. Who dressed? Mary dressed. That's a subject, which makes an independent clause. She walked around the block. Walked is my verb. Who walked? She walked. So Mary dressed up as Catwoman, comma, and she walked around the block. Again, same reason that I know that this independent clause has to come first is because of this pronoun. If I would have started the sentence by saying she walked around the block, it wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't know who I was talking about. It would be a kind of an unknown pronoun. All right, so what I would like for you to do right now in your notebook is I would like you to go ahead and combine the following three sentences that you see using either a semicolon or a comma coordinating conjunction. So you're going to see these three sets of independent clauses, combine those together to make compound sentences. Go ahead and pause the video, and when you're done, go ahead and start again. All right, so there's many ways that you could have done this. I'm going to kind of walk you through how I might have done this. It says Frank does not live far. He walks to school every day. So I might say Frank does not live far, and he walks to school every day. I know that I have to have a comma right there because you always have a comma before that coordinating conjunction. And I also know that I have to have a period at the end of my sentence. Please make sure that your sentences have periods at the end. It says Cassie loves cookies. Anthony prefers pudding. All right, for this one, I may just do Cassie loves cookies, semicolon, Anthony prefers pudding. Remember, I don't need anything else other than this semicolon. That's a common mistake that I see. Miles went to the store. He forgot the milk. So I'm going to do Miles forgot or went to the store, comma, but he forgot the milk. Your sentences may look a little different than mine, which is absolutely okay, but please make sure that you have the correct punctuation. And as I said that to you, I just realized that I didn't put ending punctuation at the end of my sentences. All right, so let's look here. What type of sentence is this? Holly went to a costume party and Jacob danced with her. All right, hopefully that you recognize that this was a compound sentence. And the way that we know it's a compound sentence is here I see a coordinating conjunction and a comma. But don't be fooled by that. You need to make sure that on both sides that we have a subject and a verb. So here I see Hallie went, and then I see Jacob danced. So therefore, I know that's going to make a compound sentence. Haley and Jacob poisoned the candy and caramel apples. What type of sentence is this? If you said that this is a simple sentence, you're correct. Now you may be thinking to yourself, wait a second, how is this a simple sentence? I see coordinating conjunctions here, so let's take a look. Here are our coordinating conjunctions. We have and. Now remember what I said in the last slide, you need to make sure that you're looking to see that there is a subject and a verb on both sides. So if I look here, all I see is Hallie. I don't see a verb associated with what she's doing. So I know that this is not a compound subject. Or excuse me, a compound sentence right there. All that is listing two people, which we would call a compound subject. Here, if I look on the other side, all I have is caramel apples. I don't have any sort of action that's going on, so I know that this is not going to make a compound sentence. All right, looking here, what kind of sentence is this? Will Hallie eat the apples, or will Sarah throw the apples? Here I see my comma coordinating conjunction. So what type of sentence is this? Is it simple or is it compound? If you said compound, you are correct. So let's look for that verb and the subject. So here, I know I see this verb eat. That's an action. Remember, we have our helping verb will here, and then our subject is Hallie. Here we have the verb, the action verb throw. Again, will is a helping verb, and our subject, who will throw? Sarah will throw. All right, what you're going to do, we're going to skip over this. I would like for you in your notebook to write me a story of 3 to 5 paragraphs. You're going to need a beginning, a middle, and an end. So it's going to be hard to write a story with a beginning, middle, and end in only 2 paragraphs. So it needs to at least be 3. I'd like you to do this about the following picture. Please use a variety of compound sentences, comma, coordinating conjunction, and the semicolon. Please highlight those sentences in yellow. When you are done, I want you to come over and confer with me, and we are going to focus specifically on those compound sentences. Please go ahead and pause the video once you see the picture. All right, after conferencing with me, you may have had to come back and work on your compound sentences a little more. So same thing, you're going to write another story of 3 to 5 paragraphs that has a beginning, middle, and end about the following picture. Again, focus on those compound sentences and whatever we talked about in our conversation. I'd like you to highlight those sentences yellow. And then when you're done with this, come back and confer with me. Again, please pause the video when you're done. All right, so you may have had to come back to your writing with compound sentences, which is absolutely okay. Don't feel frustrated. Don't get down on yourself. All we're doing is practicing, and I want you to be absolutely perfect. So I'm going to have you keep practicing and practicing. It's going to be the same thing again. You're going to write me another story of 3 to 5 paragraphs with a beginning, middle, and end on the following picture. Use a variety of compound sentences. Use the things that we have talked about. And then when you're done, come see me. Here's your picture. And please pause the video once you've seen the picture.